Hello and welcome to session 3. I'm Dr. Susan Shapiro. So this chapter talks about evaluation. And what is evaluation? Well, it's the interpretation of evidence gathered through measurement. So we can get the score of the test, but what does that mean? We need to interpret it from why we're using it and what we want to learn about our students. So these are the 3 guiding questions that we use for a diagnostic approach. What do I want to know? Why do I want to know? And how can I best discover this information? And so we're going to look at these questions in terms of evaluation. So we use different types of assessment so that we can do evaluation. One of the ways of doing assessment is authentic assessment, which is the student's ability to use these applications in real life situations. So it might be something like seeing if a child can write a sign, please don't touch my blocks. It may be, we have everyone get up from the rug and try to find something, all the different things in the room that start with the letter A. So we really want to see this in a real life situation. Performance assessment is completing tasks in an instructional environment, and they can be documented in a portfolio, and they're scored via rubric. So this is making sure that it happens during school. The thing that we were talking about before was a real life situation, maybe reading a stop sign, writing a sign. This is something that they need to do during the course of instruction. So what are portfolios? People talk about this a lot in terms of evaluations, and what they are is they are representation of students' work over time. The children can pick what they want to be in the portfolio. The teacher can pick what they want to be in a portfolio. It's something that can be used by peers. It's something that can be used by the child, something that can be used for the teachers. It's also wonderful in terms of parent outreach to be able to show them the progression of work. Another form of assessment that we use is observation. That can be done through records, through watching children, writing down observations, or through checklists, or behavioral observations. There's a lot to do with observation. There's lots of different ways it can be used. One of the things that we try to do when we observe is we try not to put our own inference into it. So if you see Johnny sitting on the rug and he's moving around, you simply state, Johnny is moving around. You don't say, Johnny is bored and kept shifting in his seat. So we try to be as least involved with the language that is being used. Of course, we are putting our own thoughts into this, but the idea is really to take an objective look of what's going on in your classroom. Now, one of the things that you can also do is you can do a checklist. If you know that most children, when they sit at the rug, can sit for a period of time, that might be on your list. Maybe you would say that they need to be able to pick up the book and know that it opens from right to, how it opens, that they might be able to trace words with their fingers. All of these things you might do on a checklist, just observing a child. Another way of using informal assessment techniques is by talking to a child, by interviewing them, asking them specific questions, and doing an interest inventory, seeing what they're interested in. Do they want to read about construction workers? Do they want to read about gardening? And getting a sense of their interests. Are they interested in reading at all? Are they more interested in looking at maps? Are they more interested in doing the assignments online? So why do we use assessment and observation and evaluation? Because we talk a lot about it during this class. And the reason that we use it is we want to inform instruction. If we don't know what the children are understanding or not understanding, we cannot tailor the learning to what the children need. So if we know that all the children in the classroom really need to work on their capital letters, they need to work on the way that a book opens, that's something that we can take through our observations, we can take it through our assessments, and use that to inform what we will be doing in the classroom. So this chapter goes into a lot of detail about IRIs. The IRI is what's going to be on your midterm. You're going to be using the IRI. So spend a lot of time reading this. Really get to understand the different reading levels, understand how it's used. If you're going to take any time on this chapter, I would say that the IRI section is going to be very, very important for you to really spend time understanding, because it's really what you're going to be doing. You want to go in really being informed. And why do we use these IRIs in the classroom? Well, one reason, and we just talked about, was to inform instruction. Another is to give students feedback on their reading behavior so they understand what they need to change and what they need to work on. To help understand a children's reading levels, so that we can give leveled books, so that we're not getting books that are too easy or books that are too hard. We really want children to excel and feel comfortable but still be challenged. And to help teachers diagnose strengths and needs, not just of the child, but the class in general. This chapter also goes into a lot of detail about a running record. So what is a running record? It is a way to document a child's reading. And the purpose of this running record, once again, is that you want to inform instruction. You want to know that we're teaching the children things that they need to know. So how are they similar? Well, yeah, both of them, the children have to read aloud. And the value of reading aloud is definitely present in these two methods. They both use a coding system to mark the types of miscues that children make when reading. And they use a connected text rather than isolated words when assessing reading. So how are IRIs and running records different? Well, running records are not there for comprehension. We're really looking to see what the children know in terms of decoding and understanding and reading. And they can be completed with any text, whereas the IRI is using a set of graded passages, so we know what level the children are on. So this chapter, these two chapters are important chapters, and I really suggest that you spend time working on these chapters and getting to know them. It's going to be important for you to use the IRI. And when you talk about your intervention plan at the end, you might find yourself going back and wanting to use running records. So spend time, take a very close look at it, and I hope you enjoyed this session, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.